For any direction of development, an organisation still has to decide the method they will use to achieve it. And there are three broad methods. First of all, they could do it themselves. This is what we call internal development. Secondly, they could merge or acquire an organisation who is already doing it. So this is merger and acquisitions. Or thirdly, they could actually work with another organisation and do it in partnership. This is what we call strategic alliances. Small family businesses like the shop are usually going to favour internal development, doing things themselves, for two main reasons. One is that their resource base is quite limited, and therefore they can't afford to take over another organisation, or they may be dominated by a partner. And that leads us to the second reason, which is control. People who set up their own businesses usually like to control them and keep them to themselves and are not very keen on working with partners. Microsoft, our example of a global organisation, in this particular instance, isn't really terribly typical. You would find global organisations probably being forced to develop by merger and acquisition, or alliances, or a combination of the two. But of course there's an important practicality here. If you're the organisation which has created an industry and dominated it, there may be no one for you to acquire, or no one for you to work with. And therefore, the degree of internal development in Microsoft is unusual for that particular category of global organisations. Hospitals, like many public sector organisations, historically have tried to do things pretty much themselves. But that's quite difficult and, in many cases, terribly inefficient. And one of the missions of governments in the last 15 years, whilst trying to make the public sector more efficient, is to encourage them to work in partnership. In fact, there are many public sector developments where, in fact, it's only partnership will work. For example, if you're tackling very difficult issues like drugs, hospitals would have to work with education, with social services, and with the police.